Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
So what is Monkey Mail? Was it the name of a postal service in Toshi's village? No, obviously the village was not that civilized. Was that a post which is delivered by the well-trained monkeys? No. Village children passing messages to each other. So, the village children, they were passing messages to each other. This is something close. But what exactly was that monkey mail for? The secret code that was used by the children for an incoming vehicle. So this is how they used to shout curry, curry, and that would spread across the village. Why was having a shortcut to the main road from the village advantageous? So what were the benefits of having that shortcut? It was easier for the younger children to run a shorter distance. So it was beneficial because the young ones found it easy. No. Warning about an incoming vehicle could be passed on to the other children faster. Because of that road, one could tell the other children about the vehicle. No. The shortcut was easier to use because there were no vines or creepers. Again, no, we have read that there were a lot of vines. It was overgrown with vines and creepers rather. So the answer is the children could get from the village to the vehicle in a fast manner. Why had Toshi never heard of Kohima? So why did he never hear of Kohima? Kohima was very far and there were no roads from there to his village. Kohima was not important town during Toshi's childhood. Kohima was known by a different name during Toshi's childhood, and it was rare that anyone came to Kohima or came from there to the village. So, as we have just read, it was known by the name of Mopungchuk, which was 40 kilometers away. So, it was known by a different name in Toshi's childhood. Then, there we grew up more like civilized apes. What is the literary device used here? Grow up like civilized apes. Always remember, whenever we use like or as to compare somebody, that literary device is simile. I can only say there was an angel taking care of us. What does this sentence tell us about Toshi? As we have already discussed, that he believed in God. Okay, let us move on to the next question. They were driven by giant ape-like men with red faces. This is a line which has been taken out from the chapter. So, who are the men Toshi is talking about here? Who were these men? These men were the drivers. Or you may say the Americans driving those vehicles. Why were they driving through Toshi's village? Why would they drive through Toshi's village? Because that was the way that they would use during the World War II. Why were their faces red? Now there are two explanations which are given to us in the chapter. Their faces were red because they were shy, as most of the people in village were half naked, or that was because of the sunburn. So that was the sunburn that they had. Okay. During such exploits, finding a patch of oil or fuel which had fallen through a leak in the vehicle was like hitting the jackpot. Why was finding a patch of oil on the ground like winning the jackpot? So why was it so special for them? Because they could use it to inhale the fuel for a long time. Why did the finder try to hide the oil? Why would he hide the oil? So that the others did not take it away, and because it was precious and did not want to be used by anyone else. What do you think of Toshi and his friends' practice of sniffing fuel? So what do you think of it? Obviously, I personally would say that that is how, it explains their innocence, and the fact that a vehicle and its smoke was new to them. So they did not know anything about the vehicle or the smoke emitted by it, and that is why they were so keen on sniffing it. Okay. Why does Toshi call his village remote and backward? As we have already discussed, the reason why he called his village remote was because it was located on a top of the mountain, and it was backward because the people of that village were not civilized. He himself has compared him and his friends to civilized apes. And he talks about the fact that they were half naked, there was no food, they were always caked in dust. So because of the environment in which they lived, because of the food, the lifestyle that they had, he calls his village as remote and backward. What is the fragrance of the god? So what is the fragrance of the god? Fragrance of the god refers to the smell of the fuel or the smell of the smoke that would emit from the vehicles. Why were children in the village so eager to catch a whiff of it? And why were the children so excited to smell it? Because as I have told you earlier as well, it was a rare thing for them to see a vehicle or inhale its smoke. I can only say that there was an angel taking care of us. Why are Toshi and his friends lucky to be alive? Because it is very clearly explained in the second last paragraph that the kind of living standard, lifestyle that they had, they were malnourished, they used to eat worms, they were always caked in dirt, they were half naked, there were diseases like hepatitis, dysentery, tetanus, and amidst all this, they managed to survive. And that is why they are grateful to the angel who takes care of them. Okay. Toshi compares his childhood to the happenings at an ape enclosure in a zoo. What does he mean by this? And what literary device is being used here? So if you remember, Toshi actually compared his childhood with an ape who used to live in the zoo. Why did he do that? This comparison was made because he called himself as a civilized ape, as I told you. He used to swing from branch to branch. He used to jump. We have been told that he used to swing, jump, skip. He had all the habits and all the routines of a monkey only. The only difference that he pointed out was that unlike the apes, he did not eat the half digested cud. So that was the only difference. Other than that, he compares himself to the ape. And what is the literary device? As I've told you, he is comparing himself to the ape in the card. So we can say that he is using metaphor, because there is no usage of like or as, so we use metaphor. When we compare using like and as, it is simile, and when the comparison is made without like or as, it is a metaphor. What are the great curry adventures? Why do you think the girls never took part in them? So what were the curry adventures that Toshi has told us about in this chapter? Curry, first of all, refers to the four-wheeled vehicles that would pass from their villages very, very often. There was a footpath that connected to the road. And when it comes to curry adventures, the moment somebody would hear the sound of a vehicle approaching, they would pass on this message through the monkey mail, and everyone used to run to that place, holding their half pans, crossing the creepers, and would reach there and would again run after the vehicle in order to inhale the smoke. So this is what the curry adventure is. Later on, when they would come back to the village, they would actually discuss who did what, who ran faster, who fell down, and would go back home very, very satisfied. Now, why do you think the girls never took part in them? As I've told you earlier when I was teaching you the chapter, I believe that the reason why the girls never took part in them is because of so much of running that was involved, and specifically through the wilds. So running through the wilds, crossing the creepers, and most importantly because of all the jostling, all the pushing that was involved with respect to getting the smell of that smoke. I am a child of the 50s. What decade were you born in? What are some of the major events that took place then that have shaped your child? So this one is a very general question in which our author asks us in what time were we born in, and he also wants us to recall about some of the nice and wonderful things that took place in our time that make our childhood not as exciting as it was for him, but at least somewhat excitement and fascination is attached to it. So my dear students, with this we come to an end of the chapter. I hope you have enjoyed the chapter as much as I did. The chapter has been explained to you, every word, every sentence has been explained, and the back exercises are also solved. So I hope it is all clear to you. So I shall see you all now in my next lecture. Thank you.